Hello, everyone. This is Adelai Brown, your heart coach with Be Blessed Daily, and welcome to Sisters in Solidarity.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is your girl, KristieLove, Sisters in Solidarity, segment number 2. And today, we are going to talk about, to piggyback off of a recorded segment that the Heart Coach did earlier about the spiritual heart transplant. And what I have elected to do is to take it a little step back and let's talk about some of the things we do before allowing that transplant to happen. Some of the things that we're wrestling with, some of the things that we're continuing to do when we know we shouldn't. And this is going to get it's going to get a little intense for those of us that are ready to go to that next level and start dealing with some of the things we're going through, and allowing ourselves to open up. Before we, dive into some of that, Miss Heart Coach.
Yes, ma'am, KristieLove.
Yes. What would you say would probably be, and I'm going to open up with this question, is one of the reasons why we run from what we run from so long? Why do you think these vices, we're getting ready to tap on some of these vices, why do you think we stay in that so long?
That's a great question. Why do I think that we stay and deal with some of the vices that we have for so long? I think it has a lot to do with what we believe about ourselves. I think it's rooted in our self-esteem. I think that when we see ourselves in a negative light, when we think less of ourselves than what we really are, we tend to make decisions that are lower than what we really are. And it's not that we're bad, we make bad choices because we feel like we're bad. And that is why I feel like many of us use the vices that we use.
Wow. She stumped me almost immediately with that answer. Because that is something, if I may be a little bit transparent with you, that's something that I'm walking out right now. 41 years old, I've been through a lot of different things in my life. And one of the things that I know that I can say is that those vices, those comforts, food, for some of you, it may be sex, it may be alcohol. For some of us, those things, they feel good because it gives you that temporary gratification. But what about when that last bite is gone? When about when that moment is over? And you have to once again deal with yourself. You have to be honest about what it is that's really going on the inside of you. And that's why I'm so thankful for my sister here, because she's really helping us to see what's really going on the inside of you. Because what's on the inside of you, you're going to project out, be it good, bad, or indifferent. And she can help you to deal with those things. At the end, we're definitely going to make sure that you have that contact information so that you know how to go and view those. Because the video she did earlier today, you don't understand. It's really going to help. It's going to help heal some souls, girl.
Amen.
It really is. Absolutely. So one of the things that I kind of wanted to tap on, as far as the vice I wrestle with, one of my main issues, if you will, is the comfort of eating. Yes, I said it.
Testify.
Yes.
Testify.
Because for me, it has taken away that bite of being alone at times. I am not afraid or ashamed to admit that I am a hopeless romantic. I believe in love, and I have had some not so pleasant experiences in that realm. But for some reason, when I take that bite of whatever it may be for that day, it takes my mind off of it, at least for the time being. But when that last bite is gone, then I'm having to ask myself some questions. I'm having to be honest with myself about how I'm really feeling. I'm having to own up to the fact that I really feel lonely. I'm having to ask myself, well, am I not good enough? Am I not this? Am I not this? And I start questioning myself. But when I really take that moment and look, I know there's so much I need to do. And I realized that what I was doing at that time was merely a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Come on, KristieLove. Let me give my KristieLove a hug. See, this is what Sisters in Solidarity is all about. I want to commend you for being so honest and transparent, because what I can promise you is those of you on live, those of you on To Expose You, all of us can relate to that. I can say I've had many vices through the years, be it people or things, habits, lifestyle. See, a lot of times we don't realize. See, people will say, "Oh, KristieLove, she's admitting that her loneliness and her fear of being alone. A lot of times she would put food in that place, and food can't let you down. Like if you can meet a man and he can tell you, baby, I'm this, I'm that. You can have Fabio riding up on the white horse, right?
Yes, a chocolate Fabio.
Yeah, chocolate Fabio riding up in the white horse with the dreads and all that good stuff.
Oh, and a full beard.
There you go.
Beard gang, represent.
All right. My honey got a beard, so you know I'm very partial to the beard. But anyways, you can have all of that. He can present that. And then when he knocks at the door, you looking at the frog prince. Right?
Yes.
But when you order the burger, you know that Wendy's is going to give you what you asked for.
What you asked for. You better
So
say that.
at least, a lot of times we beat ourselves up for that. But we have to look at what is causing this vice to be so powerful. Like you cannot see, what I have found that we're willing to do is we are willing to admit our mistake. I'm lonely. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. But we're not willing to have that heart transplant like we talked about. We're not willing to go through the change to get on the other side. What's on the other side of lonely? What's on the other side of frustration? What's on the other side of anger? A lot of times we're too afraid to even seek that because of that self-esteem that I was talking about.
Yes.
I won't even search for it because I'm not even strong enough to have an expectation that I can find it.
Girl. Right. All of that. That's what I'm talking about. And, as I never thought that I would get to 41 years old and wrestle with some of the things that I'm wrestling with right now. I'm here to tell you, my sister, my brothers, my humble brothers, some of the things that I've had to come full circle with, that I've had to admit I'm dealing with, it hasn't been easy. It has. In fact, it's been quite painful. I had to admit to myself that it bothered me that, and this is by no means a cut to him or disrespect, the day before Father's Day, I wanted to be more of daddy's girl. I wanted him to dote on me because I was the firstborn, because out of a clan of 5, I was there first. So I wanted it to be more. But because of his profession, because of what Anthony Baxter did and what he represented, it couldn't be that way. It couldn't be that way all the time. Knew that he loved me, never doubted that. Knew that he loved me, knew that he loved my siblings. But there was a void for me. There was something within me where I wanted to be more to him. Excuse me. So when I was not, I looked for it outside. Mm-hmm. And I realized that as I started to go through my high school years and my formative years, I began to look to the guy that I was dealing with. Whether I was in middle school, high school, I looked to him to be like a daddy. Mm-hmm. And he can't. That's not what he's supposed to do. See, when you don't have a sense of self, then you look to someone else to give that to you. And that's not something that they're meant to do. Mm-hmm. And even to this day, 41 years old, and I still have that void. Mm-hmm. There's still that void for me where I want to be daddy's girl.
I want to commend you for being so open and so transparent. I do. I want to just let you know that being on live and being in the studio, putting that out there, it takes a lot to do that. And I don't think that you give yourself enough credit, or any of us give ourselves enough credit for being willing to put it out there. Like, I'm hurting and this is where I am. So I want to commend you on that. I also want to encourage you. I heard you tell your story and tell a lot of why you went through that. And when it came to your father, and you said that he couldn't because of his profession, a lot of times we come up with excuses in our own minds of why people couldn't do what they did to kind of help us make sense of why it wasn't what it was. You don't really know if that's what it was, but that's what you have convinced yourself. And it almost sounds like you've almost convinced yourself that it's almost like I'm wrong or guilty for feeling like I wanted more of him and he couldn't do it for me. I don't know. I'm just saying what I'm feeling. And that's one of the reasons why I encourage people to journal the way that I do. Because when we go back and look at circumstances like what Chrissy just brought up, and like she said, this is throwing no pun at her father or anyone else that might be in a situation like this. But this is her truth the way she knows it. And one thing I realize is many of us are trying to convince ourselves that we need to think this way. And I should feel this way. The right thing would be to feel this way. There is no right thing to be. If I can't acknowledge where I am now, then I can't get to the right place. It's just like the GPS. When you're asking for directions, it needs to know your current location. I can give you the route from the last place you checked in, but you might not be there right now. So I need to know where you currently are. So if currently I'm upset, if I'm telling myself I'm not upset, I shouldn't be upset, then I don't know where you are to help you get the way you need to go.
Yes, ma'am.
So we just have to be honest. And that's why with those vices, okay, you have that vice. The vice is trying to help you find your location. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have it, but right now this is what you're telling yourself that you have to have. So look at that vice. What is triggering that? What is drawing you to that? And as you focus on how did you feel right before you wanted that urge came, let me get something to eat. How did you feel right before you said, let me call him and see if he can come over tonight? What was going on? Who disappointed you? What happened that triggered that natural, you think is a natural reaction, but that coping mechanism?
Absolutely.
And those are some of the things we have to think about to start to see the changes take place.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are going to delve just a little bit deeper into dealing with some things, owning up to some things. Come back and join us, segment 2, Sisters in Solidarity. Thank you.
Yes.